lesson in this summit is that leadership is about problem solving. And if there is anything that you will have to take home from what we have learned here, is that leadership is about problem solving. The leadership is not about titles and offices and positions. Leadership is not about lording over people. Leadership is not a celebrity status. Leadership is about solving problems. God puts you in a position where you are now responsible for the welfare, for the future, for the intelligence, for the progress, for the day-to-day activities, for the finances, the spiritual life of other people. God puts you in a position where you become the literal answer in certain situations. You are now the answer to the problems that people have around. Leadership is you stepping to the fore, coming in front to take over battles that others are struggling with. Leadership is Moses coming up because there is a slavery problem. Leadership is David showing up because there is a Goliath problem. Leadership is Gideon showing up because there is a Midianite problem. Nobody would have made Jephthah head over the house unless there was a war. It was only when there was a problem they couldn't solve themselves that they went out searching for the very person they had rejected. The same Jephthah that they abused and they stigmatized. They said his mother was a harlot. They had nothing to do with him. But when the time came when they had a problem that needed a solution, they sought after Jephthah. Jephthah embraced leadership position because there was a problem. He said, if I come with you and I fight this war with you and I win it, you promise me now that I will be head over and made chief over the house. He knew that the leadership position that he was going to assume was not going to be without challenges. So he was ready to fight. He was ready to go to war. He was ready to carry his trained men, vagabond turned soldiers into his own father's house and fight wars to win. He knew that required that kind of battle. And I've told us here that the trouble with the African leadership is that the African leadership is a celebrity leadership. It's a lordship leadership. It's a leadership where people rise to places where they need to be worshipped. It's a place where it's a kind of leadership where you are actually going to a point where you can very conveniently exploit the other person, where you can take advantage of a larger group of people. And that's why Africa seems to be stuck. Africa is not stuck because there are churches. Africa is not stuck because there are religions. Africa is stuck because of the foundational, traditional mentality of celebrating rulers. The African foundational tradition and culture was that there might be an Oba or a Royal Highness or an Obong or a traditional ruler. And the fundamental relationship between the people and that traditional ruler is that of worship and reverence. And so you read histories of sacrifices of all kinds being made for the person that they have extolled. And this African mentality is what transmuted or transferred or transformed itself into our political system. It's not religion. Religion itself is teaching you the concept of humility. It is a core African tradition that is even infiltrating into the church, that is turning the priests and the pastors into idols that should be worshipped. If you go into society where you're not given those kinds of preferences, you assume the position of humility by nature. But we are coming out from a culture where if you are from a royal family, people literally have to carry you on their shoulders. The carts and the chariots that they carry, the royal highnesses of the then days, they will carry you on your shoulders. Your subjects are almost as slaves. And so when you carry that mentality into politics, it's difficult to really lead because you go there to be worshipped. And that's why as soon as a humble person becomes some kind of a governor or becomes some kind of a councillor, a local government chairman, a mayor, whatever, they run people off the road. Their sirens are louder than everybody else. Their numbers of escorts, that's not church, that's not religion creating that. It's already a factor in our system that we fail to realize that we are in the position of leadership to solve problems. And that's why a more developed society